The massive crystalline dome of the Galactic Council chamber stretched overhead, its surface reflecting the light of 1,000 stars. Admiral Marcus Reeves stood motionless at the center of the chamber, his weathered face betraying no emotion as 17 alien species, the ruling members of the Galactic Council, stared down at him from their elevated platforms. The chamber itself was designed to intimidate, rising hundreds of meters high with transparent walls revealing the void of space beyond. It made visitors feel small and insignificant. Hundreds of lesser species filled the observer galleries, their curious eyes fixed on the lone human standing before the council. The charges against humanity are grave. Admiral Reeves, announced High Arbiter Vox Thalem, his translucent tentacles rippling with bioluminescent patterns. Unauthorized expansion into protected sectors, weaponization of prohibited technologies, and refusal to submit to standard neural compliance protocols. Marcus remained silent, hands clasped behind his back, stance unwavering. His only movement was a slight tightening around his eyes. "You understand, Admiral, that Earth's continued defiance cannot be tolerated," continued Vox Thalem. "For the stability of the galactic community, examples must be made." The Dravari representative, a being of living metal and quantum circuits, leaned forward. "We have already dispatched the first fleet to your home system. Your colonies on Proxima Centauri and Tau Ceti have been neutralized." At this, Marcus finally spoke, his voice steady and calm. "You've made a critical miscalculation." A ripple of murmurs flowed through the chamber. The lesser species in the galleries whispered among themselves. No one had ever dared speak to the council with such confidence. "We reviewed your military capabilities extensively," said the Krith representative, mandibles clicking. "You have precisely 7 warships capable of interstellar travel." "We have 7,000. Marcus smiled, not a warm expression, but predatory. He raised his wrist, activating a holographic display. "Permission to present evidence?" The council reluctantly agreed. The hologram expanded, showing real-time footage of Earth's solar system. What had appeared as empty space suddenly flickered as thousands of stealth fields deactivated simultaneously, revealing a massive human armada, ships of designs the council had never seen. "For a century, we've been building in secret," Marcus explained. "While pretending to struggle with basic fusion technology, we mastered gravitational manipulation and quantum shielding. We knew this day would come." On the hologram, the alien First Fleet appeared at the edge of the solar system. The human ships didn't move to engage. "And now," Marcus continued, "your fleet has entered the range of Sol's defensive grid." The hologram showed massive energy signatures activating on previously invisible orbital platforms around Earth, Jupiter, and Saturn. The alien ships began to blink out of existence, not destroyed but captured in localized space-time bubbles. "We anticipated your aggression," Marcus said, "and prepared accordingly. Your fleet has been neutralized without casualties. They're simply paused." The council chamber erupted in chaos. Lesser species fled the galleries in panic. Several council members shouted orders to their security forces. Vox Thalem rose to his full height, eyes burning with cold fury. "This means war, human. The full might of the Galactic Council will descend upon your world." Marcus's smile didn't waver. "Is that all you've got?" He turned and walked toward the exit, leaving the council in disarray. Outside the chamber, his second-in-command, Commander Diana Frost, waited. "How did they take it?" she asked. "About as expected," Marcus replied, straightening his uniform. "Phase 1 complete. Begin Phase 2. Back aboard their ship, the Defiance." Marcus and Diana reviewed the latest reports from Earth. The Galactic Council had indeed declared war on humanity, just as predicted. "All colonies have activated their defense grids," Diana reported. "The stealth fleets around Tau Ceti and Proxima Centauri have revealed themselves. The Council forces there have been contained." "And the diplomatic channels?" Marcus asked. "Already in motion. Dr. Walsh has made contact with the Nilarian Consortium and the Free Worlds of Orion. Both have expressed interest in our proposal." Marcus nodded. For decades, Earth had prepared for this moment. While outwardly appearing to be a minor, compliant species, humans had been building alliances, developing technologies, and preparing defenses. They had studied the Council's tactics and politics, identifying fracture points in the galactic power structure. "We have 24 hours before the Council regroups," Marcus said. Make sure our communications blackout is in effect. Let them wonder what we're planning. That night, alone in his quarters, Marcus reviewed the holographic star map, showing the position of every known Council fleet. Their strategy was unfolding perfectly. The Council, arrogant after 10,000 years of unchallenged rule, had never considered that a primitive species might be playing a longer game. Earth had joined the galactic community 200 years ago, presenting themselves as an eager, technologically modest civilization. All the while they had been studying, analyzing, and preparing. The neural compliance protocols meant to ensure loyalty to the Council had been secretly circumvented generations ago. A soft chime interrupted his thoughts. "Admiral, we're receiving an emergency transmission from Earth," Diana's voice announced. Marcus activated the communication array. General Laura Zhang's face appeared, her expression grim. "The Council has deployed the Void Cascade," she reported without preamble. "Our intelligence suggests they're targeting Sol directly." Marcus froze. The Void Cascade was the stuff of legend, a superweapon capable of collapsing a star into a controlled black hole. They hadn't expected the Council to resort to such measures so quickly. "Time to impact," he asked. 72 hours. "They're moving it through guarded corridors." Marcus considered their options. The plan had accounted for escalation, but not this rapidly. "Activate the quantum network," he ordered. "It's time for Dr. Ryder to show what he's been working on. And contact Major Ortiz. We'll need her team ready." As the transmission ended, Marcus returned to the star map. The war had begun faster and more intensely than anticipated, but humanity was far from helpless. They had prepared for this moment for generations. The Council had declared war. Humanity would show them why that was a mistake. Dr. Eleanor Walsh stepped into the dimly lit chamber of the Nilarian High Council, her footsteps echoing against ancient stone floors. 6 alien figures sat before her, their crystalline bodies glowing with internal bioluminescence. As Earth's foremost xenolinguist and strategic analyst, she had been tasked with a critical mission, securing allies against the Galactic Council. "The Council has ruled your systems for 8 centuries, Eleanor said, her voice clear and unwavering. "They've restricted your technological development, limited your expansion, and extracted your resources. We offer an alternative." She activated a holographic display showing the current galactic political landscape. Red markers indicated Council strongholds, while blue showed Earth's revealed forces. "Humanity has been preparing for this conflict since we first encountered the Council," she continued. "We've developed technologies they've forbidden, established hidden bases throughout the galaxy, and identified potential allies, species like yours who have suffered under their rule." The eldest Nilarian, Sentinel Vex, leaned forward. "Your species was unknown until recently. Why should we risk everything on an untested ally?" Eleanor smiled. "Perhaps a demonstration is in order." At that moment, her communication device chimed. She answered with a nod, and Commander Darius Jackson's face appeared in hologram form. "Operation Starfall complete," he reported. "All targets neutralized with 0 casualties. The Council's primary shipyards at Centauri Delta are disabled." Eleanor turned back to the Nilarians. That was the sound of humanity neutralizing one of the Council's most heavily defended military installations. "We don't seek to destroy, only to disable, to create opportunity for change." Across the galaxy, Commander Jackson surveyed the aftermath of his strike from the bridge of the stealth carrier Phantom. 50 ships under his command had appeared simultaneously at 12 Council military installations, deploying a new weapon, quantum disruptors that temporarily disabled all advanced technology without causing permanent damage. All strike teams reporting success. "Commander," his tactical officer reported, "Council forces are in disarray. Their communication networks are down." Jackson nodded. "Begin Phase 2. Deploy the diplomatic packages." Throughout Council space, thousands of small stealth drones activated, broadcasting a message to all frequencies. "The Galactic Council has lied to you. They are not invincible. They do not represent all species. Today we offer a choice: continue under their rule, or join us in building a new galactic order based on equality and self-determination." Back in the Nilarian chamber, Sentinel Vex and his council watched reports flooding in from across the galaxy. "You've planned this for generations," Vex said. "Not a question, but a statement of realization." "Yes," Eleanor confirmed. When we first encountered the Council, we recognized their pattern. They've done this thousands of times, identifying emerging civilizations, offering them limited membership while restricting their development, ensuring no one can challenge their authority. And yet you have challenged them. Because we studied history. Your history, the Orions, the Moravians, all species who tried to resist and failed. We learned from your experiences, developed countermeasures for their tactics, and waited for the right moment. The Nilarians conferred among themselves, their crystalline bodies resonating in frequencies humans couldn't hear. Finally, Vex turned back to Eleanor. We will join your alliance, human. The Nilarian fleet is modest, but our intelligence network is extensive. Eleanor bowed slightly. That's exactly what we need. Aboard the Defiance, Admiral Reeves received Eleanor's report with satisfaction. The alliance with the Nilarians was the third secured in just 24 hours. The Orion Free Worlds and the Tellurian Collective had also pledged support. The Council is calling an emergency session, Diana reported. Our intelligence suggests they're divided on how to respond. Good, Marcus said. Division was always our goal. For 10,000 years, they've ruled through unity and fear. Break one and the other follows. His satisfaction was short-lived. A priority alert flashed across his console. The void cascade has cleared the Arcturus checkpoint, Diana said, her voice tense. 48 hours until it reaches Sol. Marcus's expression hardened. Contact Major Ortiz. Her mission is now Priority Alpha. On the remote outpost of Ganymede, Major Layla Ortiz prepared her team for what might be a suicide mission. 12 soldiers, the best humanity had to offer, gathered around a holographic display of the Void Cascade, a massive ship built around a singularity core. Our objective is to board the Cascade before it reaches firing position, Layla explained. We'll use the fold space technology to bypass their outer defenses, neutralize the crew, and disable the weapon. What if we can't disable it? Asked Lieutenant James Foster, explosives specialist. Layla's expression remained neutral. Then we ensure it never reaches Earth by any means necessary. As her team prepared, Layla received a personal message from Admiral Reeves. The future of our species rests on your mission, Major, but remember, our goal has never been destruction. Even now we seek a better path forward. Meanwhile, in the Council chamber, chaos reigned. Several member species were demanding immediate, overwhelming force against Earth. Others urged caution. Their technology exceeds our intelligence assessments, argued the Zelvan representative. We should negotiate while we still have leverage. Negotiate? The Dravari's metal form pulsed with energy. They've humiliated the Council. We must deploy all fleets immediately. High Arbiter Vox Thalim struggled to maintain order. For the first time in thousands of years, the Council faced a threat they hadn't anticipated. Their carefully constructed hierarchy was fracturing. The Void Cascade will resolve this, he finally declared. Once Earth is reduced to a memory, these rebellious thoughts will fade. Unbeknownst to the Council, Professor Thomas Ryder was activating his life's work deep beneath the lunar surface. The Quantum Entanglement Network, QEN, had been planted throughout Council space by generations of human operatives posing as servants, maintenance workers, and low-level bureaucrats. Activation sequence at 60%, reported his assistant. Entanglement stability holding at nominal levels. Thomas nodded, his aged hands steady on the controls. Begin data collection. I want to know everything they're planning. As information flooded in, revealing Council secrets accumulated over millennia, Tomas sent a simple message to Admiral Reeves. The veil is lifted. We see all. In deep space, aboard her stealth insertion vessel, Major Ortiz and her team prepared for their jump. The Void Cascade was visible on their sensors, a massive construct surrounded by Council warships. Ready for fold space jump, her pilot announced. Coordinates locked. Layla took a deep breath. Execute. The universe seemed to bend around them as their ship disappeared from normal space, prepared to reappear inside the Cascade's shielding. The war had begun in earnest. But this was a conflict unlike any the galaxy had seen before. Not a war of destruction, but a carefully orchestrated campaign to reshape the galactic order itself. Professor Thomas Ryder stood in the heart of the lunar facility, surrounded by humming quantum processors. At 74, his body was frail, but his mind remained sharp. For decades, his theories about quantum entanglement had been dismissed as impossible, even by his fellow humans. Now those theories were humanity's greatest weapon. QN activation at 100%, announced his young assistant, Maya. We're receiving data from all nodes. Thomas nodded, watching as information flooded their screens. Council military deployments, classified communications, secret facility locations. For generations, humans posing as servants, maintenance workers, and low-level bureaucrats had planted microscopic quantum-entangled devices throughout Council space. The Council believes they know us, Thomas said softly. They've never understood human patience. On the main display, he could see the void cascade moving steadily toward Earth, surrounded by a protective fleet of Council warships. The superweapon was just 36 hours from firing position. Send everything to Admiral Reeves, he ordered, and prepare the targeted disruptors. It's time to show the Krell what happens when you trust your systems too much. The Krell Imperium, the most militaristic Council member, had broken from the increasingly divided Council leadership. Their Supreme Commander, Dorzak, had launched a direct assault on Earth with their elite battle fleet, 1,000 ships moving through hyperspace toward the Sol system. Aboard his flagship, the inevitable Victory, Dorzak received reports from his captains. We will reach Earth in 6 hours, his executive officer reported. The Council's indecision will be irrelevant once we've reduced the human homeworld to ash. Dorzak's exoskeleton clicked with satisfaction. The humans have clever tricks, but they cannot stand against the full might of the Krell. Begin final weapons checks. Throughout his fleet, Krell officers carried out their orders, unaware that every system they touched was compromised. The quantum entanglement nodes had been especially easy to place within Krell ships. Their rigid hierarchy meant maintenance was performed by the lowest caste, precisely the roles humans had infiltrated decades ago. In the lunar facility, Thomas gave the command. Activate disruptors targeted sequence. Across the Krell fleet, ship after ship suddenly dropped out of hyperspace as their navigation systems, life support, and weapons platforms shut down simultaneously. Emergency power kept the crews alive, but the mighty armada now drifted helplessly in interstellar space. On the inevitable Victory, Dorzak raged as systems failed around him. What is happening? Restore power immediately! His officers worked frantically, but to no avail. Then on every screen throughout the ship, a message appeared. Your fleet has been neutralized without casualties. This demonstration was necessary to prevent needless death. The humans offer terms. Meanwhile, Major Layla Ortiz and her team materialized inside the void cascade after their fold space jump. They found themselves in a maintenance corridor, exactly as planned. Movement sensors show minimal crew, Lieutenant Foster reported, scanning with specialized equipment. Most systems appear automated. Layla nodded. Team 1, secure the bridge. Team 2 with me to the core. As they moved through the massive vessel, they encountered light resistance, mostly security drones that fell quickly to their advanced weaponry. The lack of personnel was concerning. This doesn't feel right, Layla muttered. A weapon this important should have heavier defenses. When they reached the core chamber, they understood why. The Singularity Core was already in pre-activation sequence, a countdown displayed on monitors throughout the room. It's been activated remotely, Foster said, examining the controls. 24 hours to full power. Can we shut it down? Layla asked. Foster's expression was grim. The initiation sequence is hardwired. We can't stop it without destroying the entire ship. Layla contacted Admiral Reeves immediately. Sir, we've infiltrated the cascade, but the weapon is already counting down. We can't deactivate it. On the Defiance, Marcus received the news with outward calm. Understood, Major. Maintain position and await further orders. After ending the communication, he turned to Diana. The Council is more desperate than we anticipated. They've activated their superweapon early. We could evacuate Earth, Diana suggested. Our colony worlds could... No, Marcus interrupted. Earth is our home. We don't abandon it. He studied the tactical display, considering options. Contact Professor Reiter. Ask him if the QEN can be modified to affect the Cascade systems. As this exchange took place, Dr. Eleanor Walsh was addressing an emergency assembly of their new allies. Representatives from the Nilarians, Orions, and 6 other species that had joined their cause gathered via secure holographic link. The Council has activated the Void Cascade, she informed them. This proves what we've been saying. They rule through fear and are willing to destroy entire civilizations that challenge them. The Orion representative's expression darkened. If they would use such a weapon against humans, none of us are safe. Precisely, Eleanor agreed. Which is why we must stand together now. Our combined fleets may not match the Council's numbers, but our technology and position give us advantages. As she spoke, the Tellurian representative received an urgent message. The Krell fleet has been neutralized, he announced to the gathering. Without a single casualty. This news sent a ripple of excitement through the assembly. The Krell were feared throughout the galaxy for their military might. If humans could neutralize them so easily. Back aboard the Void Cascade, Major Ortiz's team secured the bridge and central systems. While they couldn't stop the countdown, they had control of the ship's movement and communications. We're receiving a transmission, Foster reported. Unknown source, but it's breaking through Council encryption. Layla authorized the connection. A hologram appeared, a being unlike any she had seen before. Its body seemed composed of pure energy contained within a crystalline structure. I am Nexus, last archivists of the Moravian Collective. The being introduced itself. We have monitored your conflict with interest. Layla remained cautious. The Moravians were reported extinct 5,000 years ago. Not extinct. Hidden. The Council attempted to eradicate us when we refused neural compliance. A few survived, watching from the shadows as they did the same to countless species. Why contact us now? Layla asked. Because you have done what we could not. Challenged the Council directly and survived. And because you now control our greatest mistake. Your mistake. The Void Cascade was Moravian technology, stolen and perverted by the Council. We created it as a tool for stellar rejuvenation. They turned it into a weapon. The being's light pulsed. We can help you disable it, but we require something in return. At the lunar facility, Professor Ryder received an unexpected signal, quantum fluctuations from inside the Void Cascade itself. The pattern was unlike anything in Council technology. New contact, he reported to Admiral Reeves. I believe Major Ortiz has made a significant discovery. As the human forces prepared for what might be their final stand, the Galactic Council itself was fracturing. 8 member species now openly questioned continuing the war, while the others demanded Earth's immediate destruction. High Arbiter Vox Thalim struggled to maintain control. The Void Cascade will resolve this matter within 24 hours. Earth's resistance, while impressive, is futile. An aide approached, whispering urgently in his ear. Vox Thalim's bioluminescent patterns shifted to colors indicating extreme distress. What do you mean the Krell fleet is disabled? He demanded. That's impossible. As reports of the Krell's defeat spread throughout Council space, more systems began declaring neutrality or openly supporting the human alliance. The carefully maintained illusion of Council invincibility was crumbling. On Earth, General Laura Zhang prepared planetary defenses, knowing they might not be enough against the Void Cascade. Yet she felt something unexpected: hope. Humanity had revealed only a fraction of their capabilities, and each revelation had shifted the balance further in their favor. The Council declared war, she told her officers, expecting a quick submission. Instead, they've started the greatest transformation the galaxy has seen in 10,000 years. Throughout human space, citizens watched and waited. They had prepared for this moment for generations. Now the future of not just humanity but the entire galaxy hung in the balance. The Void Cascade loomed in space, its massive frame silhouetted against the stars. Inside, Major Layla Ortiz faced the holographic image of Nexus, the Moravian archivist, considering the being's unexpected offer. What exactly do you want in exchange for helping us? She asked, her hand never straying far from her weapon. Protection, Nexus replied, light patterns shifting across its crystalline form. The Council has hunted us for 5 millennia. We wish to emerge from hiding without fear of extinction. You're asking us to challenge the Council even further, Layla noted. They already seek your destruction. We merely ask to stand with you rather than perish alone. Nexus paused, its light dimming slightly. But I must warn you, the cascade cannot be fully deactivated. Once the sequence begins, it must complete. However, it can be redirected. Lieutenant Foster looked up from his analysis of the core systems. Redirected where? We're not going to use this weapon on anyone else. Not on any inhabited world, Nexus agreed. But there are options. Let me show you. Across the galaxy, the council chamber had descended into chaos. 9 member species now openly opposed continuing the war, while 7 demanded Earth's immediate destruction. The remaining member, the ancient Gillic conclave, maintained its traditional neutrality. High Arbiter Vox Thalim struggled to restore order. We cannot allow this challenge to our authority. For 10,000 years, we have maintained peace through strength. If humans are permitted to defy us, everything we've built will collapse. Perhaps it should, argued the Tellurian representative, their holographic avatar flickering with deliberate interference to prevent tracking. The humans have exposed the flaws in our system. They've shown that our peace is built on subjugation. Traitor, shouted the Dravari representative, his metallic form pulsing with energy. The Tellurians have always been weak. Now we see they are corrupt as well. The debate descended into accusations and threats. For the first time in recorded history, the Council was facing internal conflict. On Earth, this division was creating unexpected problems. Admiral Reeves and Dr. Walsh found themselves dealing not only with the external threat, but also with emerging factions among humanity itself. The military vanguard is gaining support, Diana reported during an emergency leadership meeting. They're arguing that we should push our advantage and establish human dominance throughout the galaxy. Marcus frowned. That was never our goal. We sought to end council tyranny, not replace it with our own. People are afraid, Eleanor Walsh pointed out. The void cascade is still coming. Some believe the only safety lies in overwhelming military strength. And what about the Harmony Collective? Asked General Zhang. They're calling for immediate surrender and negotiation. Eleanor sighed. Also gaining support, especially in the outer colonies. They believe we've made our point and should seek peace before risking Earth itself. Marcus stood, looking at the strategic display showing the positions of all forces across the galaxy. We can't afford division now. Not when we're so close. He turned to Eleanor. Prepare a system-wide address. People need to understand what we're fighting for and against. Meanwhile, aboard the Defiance, Professor Ryder had established direct quantum communication with Nexus, bypassing conventional channels. The 2 greatest scientific minds of their respective species exchanged information at a pace that left human assistants struggling to keep up. The Moravian solution is viable. Thomas finally reported to Admiral Reeves. Major Ortiz's team can reconfigure the cascade to target an uninhabited system. The energy release will be considerable but controlled. How long will the reconfiguration take? Marcus asked. 18 hours minimum. The countdown is at 20 hours now. Marcus nodded grimly. A narrow margin. What about the council fleet guarding the cascade? That's where things get complicated, Tomas admitted. Major Ortiz's team is effectively trapped inside. If the council detects our tampering, they could override the systems or destroy the vessel entirely. Then we need a diversion, Marcus decided. He studied the tactical display again, focusing on the First Fleet. The council ships his forces had captured and contained in space-time bubbles at the beginning of the conflict. It's time to release our prisoners. The order was transmitted instantly through the Ken. Throughout Earth's solar system, the containment fields deactivated, freeing thousands of council ships. Aboard the lead vessel, Admiral Kluvar of the Zelvans found himself suddenly back in normal space, his ship's systems restoring. Report, he demanded. What is our situation? All systems returning to normal, Admiral, his second responded. We're receiving a transmission from the humans. Admiral Reeves's face appeared on their main screen. Admiral Kluvar, your fleet has been released as a gesture of good faith. We have no desire for continued conflict with those who seek peace. Kluvar's compound eyes narrowed. This is some trick. Why would you release us now? Because the Council has activated the Void Cascade. They're willing to destroy an entire civilization rather than accept change. I'm asking you to help us prevent that atrocity. You expect me to betray the Council? Kluvar asked incredulously. I expect you to preserve lives, including those of your own fleet. The Council sacrificed you without hesitation when they sent you against Earth. They will do so again if it serves their purpose. Before Kluvar could respond, a priority communication came through, directly from the fractured Council. Half the members ordered him to attack Earth immediately, while the others commanded him to stand down pending negotiations. For the first time in his 300-year career, Kulvar faced a true dilemma. The divided council orders effectively gave him freedom to choose. As this drama unfolded, Major Ortiz and her team worked feverishly with Nexus to reconfigure the Void Cascade. The work was delicate and dangerous. One mistake could trigger the weapon prematurely. The Singularity Core must be realigned precisely, Nexus explained, guiding them through the complex procedure. The cascade was designed with safeguards against tampering, but we built in backdoors the Council never discovered. Why would you create something this destructive? Foster asked as he carefully adjusted crystal matrices according to Nexus's instructions. We didn't. The original stellar harmonizer was designed to rejuvenate dying stars. The Council weaponized our technology. After they nearly exterminated us, Layla monitored their progress while maintaining communication with Earth. 15% complete, she reported to Admiral Reeves. But we've been detected. Council ships are moving to intercept. On the Defiance, Marcus received the news with outward calm. Understood. Continue your work, Major. Support is on the way. He turned to Diana. Contact our allies. It's time to show the full extent of our coalition. Throughout nearby systems, the ships of the Nilarians, Orions, and other allied species began moving toward the Void Cascade's position. They were fewer in number than the Council forces, but their technology, enhanced by human innovations, gave them significant advantages. On Earth, Eleanor Walsh delivered her address to all human settlements. For 2 centuries, we've prepared for this moment. We studied the Council's history of subjugation, their pattern of identifying and controlling emerging civilizations. We developed technologies in secret, established alliances, and positioned ourselves for this confrontation. Now some among us wish to use our advantage to establish human dominance. Others would surrender our hard-won position. Both paths lead to failure. We didn't challenge the Council to replace them as tyrants, nor to submit to a kinder form of control. We fight for a fundamental transformation, a galaxy where all species have the right to determine their own future. As she spoke, ships from a dozen species converged around the Void Cascade. The Council forces, confused by contradictory orders, hesitated. Admiral Clavar made his decision. Move to defensive positions around the human ships, he ordered. We will prevent interference with their operation. His officers were shocked. Admiral, this is treason against the Council. No, Clavar replied firmly. This is the first truly independent decision our people have made in 5,000 years. The Council doesn't rule because they are right. They rule because we let them. Inside the cascade, Layla's team worked against time. The countdown had reached 12 hours. Their modifications only 40% complete. We need more time, she reported urgently. In the lunar facility, Professor Ryder heard her call. There is another option, he told Admiral Reeves. We can use the QN to slow the countdown. A temporary measure, but it might give them the hours they need. Do it, Marcus ordered without hesitation. As Thomas initiated the quantum interference, Layla watched the countdown suddenly stretch, seconds passing more slowly. Whatever you did, it's working, she reported. Estimated completion now possible before detonation. Outside, the combined fleet of humans, allies, and defecting Council ships formed a protective barrier around the cascade. The remaining loyal Council vessels approached, weapons charged. The galaxy stood at the precipice of the first full-scale war in 10,000 years. And at the center of it all, a small team of humans raced to transform a planet killer into something else entirely, something that might change the course of galactic history. The Void Cascade hung in space like a massive dark star, its surface pulsing with energies as the countdown approached 0. Inside, Major Layla Ortiz and her team worked alongside Nexus, the Moravian archivist, in a desperate race against time. Final alignment complete, Lieutenant Foster announced, his hands steady despite the pressure. Ready for reconfiguration, Layla nodded. Proceed. Around them, the ship's internal structure hummed as power flowed through newly arranged pathways. The Singularity Core, once aimed to collapse Earth's sun, was being transformed into something entirely different. What exactly will this do? Layla asked Nexus as they monitored the process. The crystalline being's light pattern shifted in what she had come to recognize as thoughtfulness. The original purpose of this technology was communication, not destruction. We designed it to connect minds across vast distances, to share understanding instantly throughout a star system. And now it will do the same, but on a galactic scale. For approximately 7 minutes, all sentient beings within range will experience a form of shared consciousness. They will understand each other in ways language cannot convey. Layla frowned. You're talking about forcing your way into billions of minds. That's a violation. It is a necessity, Nexus countered. The cycle of domination and rebellion has continued for 50,000 years. The council rises, oppresses, is eventually overthrown, and a new tyranny takes its place. Only by truly understanding each other can this cycle be broken. Outside the cascade, fleets from dozens of worlds had gathered. The Loyalist Council forces faced an increasingly large coalition of human allies and defectors. Neither side had yet opened fire, but tensions were at breaking point. On the Defiance, Admiral Reeves received updates from all fronts. The Quantum Entanglement Network was providing unprecedented awareness of events across the galaxy. Council worlds were in turmoil as news of the divided leadership spread. Several systems had declared independence already. The Council's hold is weakening by the hour, Diana reported, but their loyalist forces still outnumber our coalition. Marcus nodded thoughtfully. Numbers aren't everything. The fact that they haven't attacked yet shows their uncertainty. He studied the tactical display. What's the status of the cascade? Major Ortiz reports reconfiguration at 94%. Estimated completion in 17 minutes. Countdown stands at 22 minutes. Close, Marcus murmured. Too close. On Earth, Dr. Eleanor Walsh was meeting with representatives of the various human factions that had emerged during the crisis. The military vanguard demanded immediate offensive action, while the Harmony Collective pushed for negotiation. We hold the advantage now, argued General Trent of the Vanguard. We should press it, establish human primacy before the Council regroups. Primacy? Eleanor shook her head. That's exactly what we fought against. Replacing one tyrant with another solves nothing. So we just forgive them? Asked Counselor Patel of the Harmony Collective. After they tried to destroy our homeworld? Not forgiveness, Eleanor clarified. Transformation. For 10,000 years, the galaxy has been locked in patterns of dominance and submission. We have a chance to break that pattern. Before the debate could continue, a priority communication came through from Admiral Reeves. The cascade has been reconfigured. Prepare for something unprecedented. Aboard the cascade, Layla and her team completed the final adjustments. The countdown stood at 5 minutes. Reconfiguration complete, Foster confirmed. Core energy redirected to the quantum communication array. Nexus's form brightened. The work is done. Now we must broadcast a warning to all vessels in the area. They should prepare their crews. Layla opened a channel to all ships. This is Major Layla Ortiz of Earth. The Void Cascade has been modified. It will not destroy Earth or any other world. Instead, it will release a quantum communication pulse. The effect will be temporary, approximately 7 minutes, but profound. All sentient beings will experience a form of shared consciousness. The announcement caused confusion throughout both fleets. On the Council flagship, High Arbiter Vox Thalem received the message with disbelief. They're lying, he declared. This is some trick to delay our attack. Order all ships to open fire immediately. But before his command could be executed, the Void Cascade activated. A wave of energy unlike anything seen before rippled outward at faster than light speed. As it touched each ship, each world, each being, the barriers between minds began to dissolve. Throughout the galaxy, sentient beings of all species suddenly found themselves experiencing the perspectives of others. Humans understood the fear that had driven the Council to control emerging civilizations. Council members felt the determination that had fueled humanity's centuries of preparation. Everyone connected to the pulse experienced the quiet desperation of the Moravians, hiding for millennia after near extinction. For 7 minutes, the truth of every civilization's hopes, fears, and experiences became known to all others. The history of the galaxy, not as recorded in official archives, but as lived by countless beings, unfolded in a shared moment of perfect communication. The Council's millennia of control through manipulation became transparent. So too did humanity's careful, patient strategy. No deception could survive this connection. When the effect faded, the galaxy was forever changed. Ships that had been prepared to fire upon each other stood down. Communications channels that had been filled with threats now carried tentative offers of cooperation. On the Defiance, Marcus Reeves experienced the aftermath with a profound sense of both accomplishment and humility. He had felt the fear of those who had seen humanity as a threat, understood the complex motivations of even his most dedicated opponents. "Contact Major Ortiz," he ordered quietly. Tell her she's done well. Then bring her team home." In the days that followed, the Galactic Council's authority collapsed entirely, not through violence but through the simple, unstoppable power of understanding. The 17 member species unanimously dissolved their 10,000-year-old institution. In its place, representatives from all spacefaring civilizations gathered on neutral ground. The transformed void cascade itself, now permanently reconfigured as a communication hub, to establish the Galactic Concord, a new form of interstellar cooperation based on mutual respect rather than dominance. Earth became a founding member, represented by Dr. Eleanor Walsh. The Moravians emerged from hiding, with Nexus serving as their voice. Even former Council species joined willingly, recognizing the opportunity for a new beginning. 2 weeks after the pulse, Admiral Marcus Reeves and Dr. Walsh stood on an observation deck, overlooking Earth. Ships from dozens of newly allied species arrived for the first Galactic Concord Summit. "Did you ever imagine it would end this way?" Eleanor asked. "Not with a final battle, but with understanding?" Marcus smiled slightly. "To be honest, no. We had 17 more contingencies prepared, ways to defeat the Council militarily if necessary. We spent centuries preparing for conflict, and yet in the end the solution wasn't technological superiority or strategic brilliance. It was communication. Perhaps that was always the real advantage humans had," Marcus mused. "Not our weapons or our tactics, but our adaptability, our willingness to try approaches no one else had considered." Eleanor gazed at the stars. "The Concord is asking if we'll share our technologies now. The stealth systems, the fold space drives, the quantum network. And what did you tell them?" "That we would, but only if everyone else does the same. No more technological hierarchies, no more artificial limitations on development." Marcus nodded approvingly. "A new paradigm." He paused, considering. "There's something I haven't told you." Before the pulse, Professor Ryder discovered something in the quantum network data, evidence that this cycle has happened before, multiple times. Civilizations rise, establish dominance, and eventually fall. The Council was just the most recent iteration. "You think it could happen again?" Eleanor asked. "Even after what we've experienced?" Memory fades. Understanding dims. "In 1,000 years or 10,000, he shrugged. "But perhaps this time will be different. We've done something unprecedented." As they spoke in orbit around Earth, a new technology activated, humanity's gift to the galaxy. A network of stable wormholes connecting previously isolated regions of space began to form, promising an era of exploration and cooperation beyond anything seen before. "The Council declared war," Eleanor said softly, thinking it would be a simple matter of crushing a rebellious species. Marcus finished the thought. "And humanity asked, 'Is that all you've got?' But in the end, we all discovered we had more to offer than just threats and violence." Below them, representatives from 100 worlds gathered to begin building something new, not an empire or a hierarchy, but a true community of equals. The war was over before it had truly begun, transformed into something neither side had expected. Peace founded on genuine understanding. The stars beckoned, not as territory to be conquered, but as a frontier to be explored together. And humanity, once prepared to fight for its very survival, now led the way toward a future limited only by imagination rather than fear.